G'day guys, spent all day working on this 5000 detector, the GPX-5000, and I've implemented everything I could possibly think of to make it simple to operate, that you're not going to get into trouble and desensitize the detector. And what else I've done? Oh, here comes my anti-dry throat fix-it. Amazing, it didn't set off the detector on the coil. Good. Normally if you open the door, you put it too close to those coils up there. It's my warning system because it detects the metal on the door. But anyway, yeah, I'll do this before I get like that. Okay. All good? That's better. Yeah, I've been obviously getting fumigated by what I've been working on with hot melt glue and solder fumes, and yeah, getting rid of conformal coatings off the circuit board and putting it back on and all the rest. Anyway, over there I have the 5000, and I've done this. I've made this as simple to operate as I can. I've got rid of all external knobs, buttons, except for the factory ones, of course, you need those, but there's no fiddling. All you really need to do is you can adjust the manual tune in the back of the detector that now, apart from being a manual tune, you can also auto tune it, but it won't be very accurate because it might overstep the mark a little bit. It's always better to manual tune. I might as well address this point. I've used the auto tune on these detectors many times, and I don't know why. It might be the way it works. It's very quick when it scans. It's looking for noise in the spectrum, and a lot of cases, a lot of impulse noise, and it might jump up and it scans and goes, oh, there's noise there, I won't go there, and it goes back down and happens somewhere else. I always manually tune within a segment, and the reason being is that I do a better job than the automatic tuning, in my opinion. Actually, it's been proven to be correct by my testing it out in the field. I can always find a quieter part of the spectrum overall, because as these detectors tune across whatever window they're tuning across, it's only a few microseconds wide. It's like you know, and it gets there eventually. On my one, it's basically has to tune, you know, that sort of something equivalent to this. So you got low frequency and high frequency, not little narrow window, which also is great for the detector for improving the performance and matching coils and matching the detector to the ground. And half the time, if you just put on, say, a 14-inch coil or a 12, you don't even need to worry about it. It's only if you're going to use really huge coils, and if you're really looking for the absolute minuscule specks of gold, then I would put it up in high frequencies or on the manual tuning up, you know, between 200 to 255. The other way, you can just leave it round about standard detector frequencies, about 128 it works out at. It's where the thing sets up. So I've basically scaled it from that point higher in frequency and lower in frequency. You can just leave it there and you can detect it'll be like a improved front end, quieter detector. So it's basically, I was going to say foolproof. It's basically newbie proof. So you can't get into trouble. So this is the way to go. Get rid of knobs and buttons and switches off the detectors, except if you're doing this on older detectors like GPs. Yeah, you have to put some controls on those detectors, because we can't automate everything on those older detectors. There isn't the mechanism for doing it. But you know, this is the way to go. So anyway, I've got this thing here purring away. It's a 5000. 5000s tend to always be a tiny bit more susceptible to EMI than the older 4500s with the 7-digit serial number. And also the newer 45s are just as susceptible as the 5000 to interference. It's something that has been done in the gain scaling of the detectors. And I'd say what they've done, I know what they've done. They've reduced the input stage gain, but they've tried to lift it elsewhere in the detector. That could be, yeah, I'll just keep my opinions to myself. That could be just an interesting outcome. We'll just leave it at that. But if I did put a 45 there, an older one, as running more gain, it'd be quieter. So work that one out. Leave it to you to work out. Okay, this is in normal mode. I've got it sitting there on my co-phase coils, or say counter phase coils. Co-phased. I'm thinking antennas again. This is basically sitting there. Factory default, turn it on, away it goes. I just let it warm up. Always realise that when you turn your detectors on, leave them run for about a minute or two before you go detecting. Everything inside has to stabilise. That's even a factory standard one. Don't just turn it on and go detecting. Things have to warm up and move around a little bit, and it has to balance out. That's just the way it is. It's electronics. But let's have a look at this coil. You're going to see something a little bit different this time, and just how good this detector is. Now, I've got it at the highest frequency setting on this detector. I can run it at the highest frequency in fine gold. I can put any slug of a coil on it within reason, and it'll work fine. High capacitance type coil, and don't have any problems. I've completely revamped the way it's done. So there's no external gain, fiddle. Don't need to do that. You just use the back gain. It's scaled, so that is what I would say, in my opinion, correct. Okay, I can still put variable gain on these detectors. If you're a pro and you know what you're doing. But this will outperform a standard detector anyway, and I'll just show you how and why. So what I'll do, I'll jack this up to where those coils are, and I'll show you my big collection of sticky notepads up there. Before, when I was doing it, I could only get 3 big sets, and I had to take the green one off because I couldn't get what I would call a reliable signal. But I'll just crank this up in the air. I hope it goes high enough. I've got the stand. Yeah, it should work. I'll just turn it around. So we'll go over there, and now I'll go on the front camera this time because I wanted to see what I was doing. So we'll go up. Hopefully it goes high enough. Should do. And hopefully you can hear it making noise in the background there. I've also changed the resistor value in my booster to give it a bit more gain. Not that it needs it, but by doing that, there we go. And because I can't zoom, I'm going to have to move this in closer. Okay. Standard old 0.025. Hang on a sec. I've got to do the finger wiggle again, don't I? Because I'll just never forget that person saying, "Show us your fingers and your hands." Right? Actually, how's this? Over the coil, nothing there. No witchcraft. Okay, here's a 0.025 thing on the stick. I don't even know if where is the thing. There it is there. But anyway, let's have a look. This is normal mode, by the way, and I've got the extra green bit on there. So now that's far better than my last test the other night. Actually, I can go a lot higher now. This is amazing. I can still hear that. That is a big difference. And as soon as I said that, big burst of interference comes through. Unbelievable. Okay. There's a bit of interference coming through, but you could hear that before quite clearly. I'll go back down again. Not a problem. So 0. So try 0.5. Whoops. Picking it up about there. It's actually pretty close. We're right at the fringe of detection ability with these targets and this type of coil set up in a counter-phased operation. Because technically this one here is the receive coil and this is the TX coil, but this has been forced to basically get the noise, shove it into the detector out of phase to the pickup of this. So that's working really well. We'll try the 0.1 grammer. That's just getting astronomically crazy, but we're getting there. That's madness, as Charity would say. Come on. This is mad. This is so high. It's a 0.1. It's just a 0.1. Unbelievable. So there you go. And that's in normal mode. Now the big ask of this is, will it ground balance? At this height, yes, but I'm going to remove all this and get it right down near the coil, and I'll just get Mr. Kalgoorlie Hot Rock here, Mr. Nasty Full Ironstone, and we'll try it. I'll just see if I can get it to ground balance without throwing the detector. Hopefully it's in tracking. I'll have a look. Yes, it is, but we'll see if we can force it to track. But it might be it's in factory default, so whatever it is. It's disappearing. Okay, well it does track at that, but let's see. I'm going to have to go and flick it into fast track because it'll sit there forever otherwise. But I'll take these stack away. Just leave one stack there. Actually, I should have put the ruler there and measured all this, but hang on, I'll get around here and fixed. Back in the tracking, back here quick. I think I might have to give it one more. The trouble is I have to run around this and have to get back there quick. So we'll see how I go. Oops, wrong switch. No, bang. There we go. Really quick. Well, you know, that's a nasty piece of hot rock. So you're not going to be digging any hot rocks. Well, unless you want to. But you can ground balance them out. And like I say, if you've got a bit of metal with it, there's absolute overkill. Put a ring with it, hot rock, you know, it's just going to scream. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, you'll never ever have something that size with a hot rock and be able to track it out. It's impossible. Won't happen. Small gold, yeah. Small targets, possibly. We proved that if you've got a big bunch of hot rocks around it, yeah, it's going to cause a bit of an issue. But I'll tell you what, I will say that is the best 5000 that I have ever done. Like I say, there's a whole heap of new techniques I've done in this. And like I was saying in the other video, I put the other, someone said, you put up the wrong video, and I actually did. So I had to take it down and put up the other one. So the last video is the correct one. You might have already seen it and said, hey, he's already put this up and not watched it. But if you want to go back to the previous video, it's worth watching. It's quite a few interesting things in it. So that is this. Oh, by the way, let's... I will go and stick this into fine gold, and we'll just check it all in fine gold at the highest frequencies, see if we have any descents. I've already done this, of course, but you guys haven't seen it, so I'll just do that. And we want to go down into special. There we go. That's in special fine. I'll put my stack of stuff on it, but that's actually on a bit of an angle. So I'm going to try and turn it around that way, so I can swing it across right in the middle of the stack. That might be more fair, because where the binding is on this, it's actually higher here. If I push it down, well, anyway, you get the gist of it. So this is on fine gold. So fine gold, in my opinion, with put up against normal at super high, you know, or very fast timings, is not as good. It's not as good. But other people will beg to differ. I beg to differ too. Can pick it up, it is there. But like I say, normal timing has been optimized, so you can actually get big nuggets and small. That's the whole deal here. It does work. 0.05. I mean, I don't think you're going to get much more out of one of these detectors than what's happening at the moment. You could, but what will happen if I actually went and put a variable gain on this detector and it was a novice operator, they would just get themselves all tangled up and not understand. You really, you need to go and have a good education on this. Go and talk to Ray. I wish Ray told me to put his phone number up, and I haven't done it. What I will do, Ray has been detecting for probably longer than he wants to admit. He has been detecting a real long time, and he's used all the detectors. And yeah, if you want to go out with him, you might have to drive him out with you, but he'll teach you all about your detector and how it works. And he's been doing it for a while. It's an interesting thing with detector training. We'll call it training. It is, I don't know. There's a lot of people who get really jealous over someone else doing it if they're doing it. So, oh, hot rock. I better flick it. It may not want to initially. Hang on, oh, I can't get in that way. I'm going to try and sneak in front of the tripod, but I'll probably knock everything over. Okay. Oops. Click. I probably wasn't quick enough. Hang on, let me get in here. There we go. That's interesting. It won't ground balance on that hot rock. Why not? Why not? Hang on a sec. I'll get in there and flick it again. Oops. Wish I had a button on this so I can go click, click into tracking. I'm going to track that out. Doesn't want to know about it. So, I spilt some Denali dirt all over the ground. Doesn't care less about goldfield dirt. And this is only fine gold. Fine gold tends to be, it's always been what I would classify as a problematic mode. You're running out of room to put stuff. Okay. Just in case, I'm going to do a factory reset on this detector. Just in case there is something not done right. Okay. Come on. That's better. Okay, let's see what's going on. Okay. Okay. Our dirt's all right. Hottie. I'll go and flick it again. It's just, these are extreme hot rocks. You're not going to find these out in the field. Okay. We got rid of that one. Don't ask me. I don't think there was a setting that was wrong on the detector. It could have been. Hang on, a quick flick again. I could have just put this thing in fast tracking, but that's cheating. We've got rid of most of it anyway. So that is quite interesting. Okay, now I'm going to put it back in normal mode. There we go. It's in normal mode. So this little thing, no problem, in normal. Hot rock. I'll flick it again because it's a bit of a slug. Okay, very quickly. Bit of residual there, but bloody hell, you know. That's why I've got these, because you couldn't get rid of them when you detected them. Different size, shape, different response. That's why these detectors are so slow on their ground balance, because you don't want to track out gold, but also nasty hot rocks take ages to get rid of. There we go, I flicked it. Should be able to get rid of it now. Let's try this coil proximity again. But yeah, these things are quite nasty. Give it lots of pumps. It should just slowly tune it out. She's gone. But yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, maybe I don't think I did set anything differently, because I did factory default set it. Maybe not. But there's no controls to adjust except for the manual tuning, and yeah, it still picks up perfectly fine. Anyway, So anyway, we can do the other experiment. Let's turn this off. And I've done this many, many times in the past. So there's plenty of record of it. Oh, I don't want that coil. Hang on a sec. I've got to find myself a double D coil. Oh, there's one. I have got one. I have got a double D coil. I'll get all this stuff, stick it here. Keep the handy post-it notes. I'll take this and put this one away. Oh, that's a double D there. Beauty. Oh dear. Come here. Okay. It's a double D. It's probably never been used. Well, maybe it has. I don't know. The trouble with these cables, God, they just got a mind of their own. They just want to harden up and stay that way. You just hope that it's not the copper work hardening. You want to hope it's a plastic that's giving itself a hard time. Anyway, I'll screw that on just in case. I'll stick this into cancel mode. Bang. I'll turn it on. We'll see where we go with this. Because technically speaking, these coils are a high capacitance coil. They're not really good for tiny, tiny targets. I mean, okay, we're in normal mode. Well, that beats scrubbing it on the coil like it's had to be done in past episodes. So if you're using a coil this big to find bits of gold like that, I think you got rocks in your head, but that's my opinion. We'll give it a go on the 0.05 to see how it goes. Yeah, so I think beforehand I had to scrape that on the coil to get a response out of it on a standard detector too. But like I say, this thing is basically running like how anyone would turn it on and away you'd go with it. There's no optimization on anything. I could put the frequency up, and I think putting the frequency up too high in fine gold may be causing an issue. I might just do that again with this coil. Those little coils I've made are extremely high capacitance coil because they're so damn small. There's just lots and lots of windings, and that could be a bit of a problem. So I'll get in here in the menu. Okay. Okay, we're high as we go at 255, and I'm going to put it into special fine, and we're just going to see. And at 255 is on somewhere where it's a bit noisy, but I just want to try the hot rock test here. Even though it's a high capacitance coil, it's nowhere near as high capacity of those small coils I made, those little fat things. But let's have a look. into tracking. That's a big nasty hot rock. So it was more of a coil issue than a detector issue. And bigger coil, of course. These aren't properly balanced. They're going to bring in more noise. So, as you can see, that we got this thing on definitely fine gold. And on the double D coil, fine gold is actually probably working better than... Let's have a look. Actually, I'm going to put my measurers there. I want to have a look at this. This is interesting, actually. You can hear it, but we're in the noise. Let's go put this thing into normal mode. If I can see what I'm doing, there we are. And I'll go fix into tracking as well. Sorry. I flicked it out of cancel into mono. Silly me. I'm on noise. I'm not going to hear anything there. So I'm going to have to adjust the frequency down a little bit. This is probably as best as I can get it. It's in about 244 or something. It's still going to have noise come in. Well, it looks like fine gold works better with even a fairly high capacitance coil, but it's not as high as my other ones. So this is all worth making notes of. That's a 0.1, by the way. Yeah, it's too noisy with that coil. It's just that the double D, they're not made perfectly in different turns ratio in the coils inside, and it won't cancel properly. That's why I made my own. But now I'm thinking I wish I had bigger ones. The reason being, I'll just turn that off. The reason being I wish I had bigger coils is that I can get lower capacitance. Let's have a look at these things here. I mean, I'll get around here. Well, actually, I'll sit down over here. It's probably better. And I'll drop this back down. So, yep, the car stick moment, and undo that, and carefully, down we go. Whoa. Okay. This thing. If you have a look at the coils on it, they're really meaty, they're thick, and there's not much spacing between the winds either. Otherwise, if you had a space coil, it would probably be up here and, you know, out here or something. It's just too big. There's other ways of making these smaller, but You know, we've got to use the right type of wire, get the right resistance. But yeah, the capacitance on that would be fairly substantial. I could probably do no, I can't. I'd have to separate the braid from the coil. I could have measured the capacitance very simply, but I don't really want to go and unpick it all and pull it apart. Where you have a look on any other coil of that size, let's have a look here. Here's a double D that is in bits. That's how it came with the wires like that. But you know, if you look at that and have a look at the mono part of it, which is this one here, you can see that that's very thin, and you know, it's the way it's wound. That'll have less capacitance. And when you have a look at the receive winding on a double D, which is this standard Minelab coil, you can have a look here that it's very, very fine wire, and there is more turns on this than what there is on the transmit, and that causes an imbalance. You've got more noise coming in on the receive coil than what there is with this. The more windings you have, it's basically a bigger antenna. It captures more signal, and thus, you know, it's not properly balanced. If you wanted to use a double D as a proper cancel coil, you could, because it's not on the high voltage part of the detector, it's not getting whacked. You could put a trim pot across the winding and just clamp it down until it was picking up as much as the transmit coil in cancel mode, and you can null it, which I probably should have done, but I never have. It's just the way you do it to match the output from the noise on this to the receive. You can't really do it on the transmit because it'll blow your trim pot apart. But you know, you probably stick something like maybe a 1000 ohm trim pot across the windings on the receive, and then you could match the input noise into the detector. You know, if you got one up here, and even though it's all in, well, it's actually not in phase, but you know, if it's all like this and that's flip phase, it'll cancel out. You know, so it's the old +1 -1 thing. If you got one up here or one down there, it's not going to cancel. Even if it's flip phase, you've still got the signal in here and there. It's got to be matched. You've got to have the same exact amplitude going in and then being put together, and all the ambient noise disappears. It just cancels out. Everything's, you know, if it's you know, -1 and +1, and does, you know, you get an impulse and it goes one, oh, actually it would do this, wouldn't it? It would go and then it would go but you put them together and the sort of like nullifies. You know, it basically taking a positive and a negative, put them together, you get a 0. It's like positive and negative numbers. +1 plus -1 equals 0. Same thing with this bizzo. So yeah, that's probably the biggest issue. The way those coils are made. Yep. I won't say any more about that. It's a lot of it's self-explanatory. Yeah, you can make it differently. You could make it very differently, but it's very hard with these PIs that you need a current. And there goes someone calling me. Anyway, that's the detector. I'm going to do some more tests and see if I can fix up some of the I don't think it's really issues. Fine gold's always been a mongrel mode to me. It always has, but it works fine on a standard coil. If you want to go and, yeah, I think it'll be David. It's probably got some issue. Anyway, I better go and see. Catches.